I think John is.
That was so awesome. You were so great.
You are wonderful for doing the work that you're doing, and you do a great job, and you are very brave and very persistent and very admirable, and I really appreciate that. And thank you for being on too. I appreciate that so much. So what are you off to do now?
We're in Williamsburg for one more day, and then we're going back to the beach tomorrow. So
What are you doing for one more day?
we're here in Williamsburg for one more day. Actually, we had to take the day off from investigating anything because I was so creeped out. Are we recording right now?
It's on the live stream, but it's not going to be posted as audio or video. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just wait. I'll wait and tell you. I'll wait and tell you
All right. Well,
another time. But yeah, I got completely creeped out at what happened yesterday. To the point where I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen now? But so we took today off as far as investigating anything. But I also think it's probably dangerous for us to be getting just radiated underneath all these towers, continuously approaching these towers and getting so close to them. What's going to happen now?
yeah. Yeah, the cumulative effect could, yeah, could be bad from, I mean, we know that, you get cancer clusters around 60 hertz coming through high voltage power lines. When you increase the frequency, it's worse. The damage is worse. The propagations are for straight lines, but it's further and it's more damaging to the body. So, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Right.
Wow. All right, so you're going to take a day off and relax a little bit then, hopefully?
Yeah, it was today. Today was our day off, and tomorrow's back to business. We're going to go back to the beach. We'll probably document some stuff out there, and then Robbie's going back to Richmond, and I won't see him again for another 2 weeks. So we do this. We pick pretty much every other weekend. We pick a different location, and we go there and investigate it.
Oh, I did not realize that's what you guys were doing. So you guys live a ways away, but you meet up every other weekend.
Right. Exactly. We just pick a
Oh,
location and meet there, and then we meet up with a group that we're part of the Rational Radicals, and so I'm a Virginia Beach, I guess, representative, and he'd be the Richmond representative, and so we both are big time into chemtrails and stuff like that. So, and it's fortunate for me that I do have a friend that lives close enough that I can do this stuff with, because before then, I was bothering my coworkers and neighbors and stuff like that about it, and no matter how many times I would try to tell them, they would dishearten me with their reactions of not accepting the information. They just, no matter what, my dad watched a chemtrail be sprayed out of the back of it, watched it happen, and then told me it was a cloud, like minutes later. I was like, so these people, including my family, are programmed not to believe this.
yeah. I've talked about this in the past, is that human beings have been taught that we have this entitlement to kind of create our own reality in a sense. We can, if we don't like something, we can just pretend it doesn't exist. That idea comes from the very same people who are spraying us because they want us to go into denial about it so they can carry out their depopulation plans. So, I mean,
Did anyone else have problems with Facebook this morning? Because
yes.
this morning when I went to sign on, and mind you, this is after all my stuff went down with the Department of Defense yesterday. I went to sign on this morning. I couldn't get onto my account no matter what. I couldn't like anything. I couldn't even sign on. And then I tried under a different name, and Robbie was able to get on. So then I was like, okay, so it's just my account then. But then my father called me and told me that he had seen an article or seen something on the news where they said Facebook was down this morning. I'm just wondering, was my Facebook down all that time while they were just rooting through my stuff again, or was it just a glitch that everybody went through?
I've heard from at least two or three other people, and I haven't been on Facebook too much today already, but I've already heard from a few other people that they had the same kind of problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it was pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are you happy with the progress you're making? I mean, you're probably not satisfied because I'm not, because I want this thing to end tomorrow, but at least you know you're having an impact, right? I hope you do.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, that's the good thing that's come of this. I'd love to actually get the EPA or the FAA. See, I'm working behind closed doors. That's what people don't understand. They just think that I rant on my radio show to these people, and then post on the internet. That's not what I'm doing. I'm talking to these people one-on-one on their personal phone numbers. These are federal agents that know me personally, and I'm trying to deal with them like woman to man. I say man to man. You know, I try to deal with these people, and I'm begging for their help at this point, even though I know that they are the ones that are doing it. And I know that sounds weird, like kind of like, why would you even bother? But I have to try something, everything. I have 4 working cases with them right now over trails, and that's to add to the 5 before that they're neglecting. You know, so if anyone looks up my records with any federal, like the FAA or the EPA or the DEQ for the state, they can see how many formal filed complaints I have with them. They can't erase that. I have all the phone records to prove hundreds and hundreds of phone calls I've made to these people. I don't know how long they can continue to run from my formal filed complaints, but I'm not the type of person that's just going to say, okay, they won't help me, so I guess I'm screwed. No, I'm going to make them help me.
Well, good. That's good. Well, I'm glad you are. As I said several times, I'm sitting here with a throbbing headache. I mean, it's almost the point where it's making me sweat. It's painful, you know, and it's just.
Right. Are we the only ones on the chat right now, or do you have a chat room going? What's your thing?
Both. No, there's 20 people on the chat, and there's 10 people on the call, so there's 30 people who can hear us right now.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still here, Madison. I'm right here. I was kind of doing something here in house. That's cool, Dexter. Thanks a lot, man. Dexter's awesome, man. He's always been there. That's your friends will carry you through this. I mean, you can have all kinds of horrible things happen to you online and through activism. As long as your friends are there to back you up, man, you can get through it.
That's
so we
right.
just really need to support each other. That's the key to all of this. Support your fellow activists.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can I pipe in and ask a question? This is Helen.
Hi, Helen. By the way, Madison, Helen's with us all the time. She's in Georgia. She has reported this to her local officials and really put a bug in the ear of a lot of people down there. How you doing, Helen?
Pretty good. Not that they're doing a heck of a lot, but I guess we all keep trying. But on the topic you mentioned earlier about Monsanto, and I have wondered who. Now, I think we know that Bill Gates, he bought 500,000 shares of Monsanto. I think it was in 2010. Not sure if those facts are exactly correct. But I have always wanted to know who are the other corporate owners of Monsanto. And I just have a sneaking suspicion that somehow, maybe this goes back to the Queen of England or something. I mean, I don't know. Why is that never released? I'd like to know who owns Monsanto. Is it a privately held company? Who are the major shareholders? Who sit on the board of directors? Who the hell is Monsanto? I think that's something we need to find out and start busting out into the news. Does anybody have a feeling on that or any knowledge of any of this?
Anybody? Madison, do you know about this, or is Dexter on?
Actually, I have read information on it online on my pages, on my Choose the Red Pill and Wake Up page. It's just that I haven't looked over it in a while, but to answer your question, yes, there are owners. Monsanto has a long history. My goodness, they've been involved in so much. And everything that they've done, everything that they produced, have been involved with, none of it is good. They're connected, if I understand, they're connected with making ingredients for chemical weapons. They were involved with Agent Orange. They were involved in the Vietnam War. They were involved in oh my goodness. Oh boy.
Right, yeah, they were originally a chemical company. So how did they get into agriculture, and
yeah, what that is, they got into agriculture. They also got into the genetic modification of food, and that's also connected into the AKA population control agenda, and also the depopulation control. Well, the depopulation agenda also, they're involved in that too. They've been involved in all the wars. That's a whole other conversation. As far as who they're owned by, who they're controlled by, there's so much information on it, and it's been a while since I looked over it, so I don't want to give you anything that's not accurate off the top of my head. I would literally have to go back and pull the link up. But if you keyword Google Monsanto and ownership and all that, it'll come up. I mean, a lot of information. Yeah, so a lot of information will come up on it. But just remember that whatever you see, if you see anything positive about Monsanto, just know that's propaganda. There's nothing positive about them.
Right.
So that would sum it up in a nutshell. But yeah, that company. Oh, and I find it interesting that you mentioned that the Queen of England, the Queen, right?
Yeah.
Is there
right.
Well, here's the thing. Let me try to shed. Right. Yeah. Let me try to shed a little bit more light on that. That's good that you mentioned that. Madison has on one of our shows we touched on this subject. And one thing I'm big on is connecting the dots. Everything that's going on today is connected into the past. Believe it or not, there's a pattern taking place. You go back and look back. You can look back as far as past couple of hundred years or even longer than that. In fact, you can look at world history and look back in the past, what's happened in the past 500 years. And what you will realize is there's a pattern. If you start connecting the dots, there's a pattern. To give you an example, what I've noticed. Just as an example, I'm not going to go back that far. Kind of jump around a little bit. Okay, let me touch on World War II. I'm not going to go into deep details on that, but just let me give you an example of this. Okay, I'm quite sure everybody remembers how Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So my point is on that is I was define a leak, but I'm not going to go into detail now. But that whole attack on Pearl Harbor, Japan just didn't attack Pearl Harbor for no reason. If you look at many things taught, at least taught when I was in high school, they try to make it seem as though, at least in some of the history books, that those mean old Japanese, they just attacked Pearl Harbor for nothing to drag the U.S. into the war. Okay, yeah, right. But when I found out, there was apparently some covert activity going on that involved the U.S. and what they were doing to Japan before they even attacked Pearl Harbor. To make a long story short, apparently there were entities involved within the U.S. government that were what they were trying to do, for understand, is in some way, shape, or form, or fashion, they were affecting the Japanese economy overall as a whole in a negative fashion. They tried to negotiate with the U.S. They had meetings, et cetera, all kinds of things were going on. When it came to a head, apparently an agreement couldn't be reached. Long story short, from what I see it, Japan was pretty much trying to get the U.S. to, kind of leave them alone if they come to some type of agreement. And to make a long story short, some of the leaders of Japan, they were pushed and pressed and pushed to the point where they say, okay, this is enough. We have to do something about this. We have to get these U.S. agencies off of us. They won't leave us alone. So they were pushed to the point whereas they wound up attacking Pearl Harbor. They just didn't attack Pearl Harbor for no reason. They were manipulated into it. Okay?
Right. I've heard that also.
Right. That's just an example, okay? I'm not going to go into the details. My point of the whole thing is that everything that's happened in history with the wars, with the poisoning of the environment through chemicals and all these things that have happened historically, with the JFK assassination, and believe it or not, the Abraham Lincoln assassination, and there were about, I think, 3 or 4 of the presidents that were assassinated too in reference to the dollar or the Federal Reserve note, as we know it. All that's connected. It's all connected. Connected dots. 9/11, that's connected too. The assassination of Martin Luther King, that's connected also. It's all connected. So there's a pattern. So when you start piecing together, you start to realize, like, wait a minute, something going on here. Humanity, we've been manipulated for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds hundreds of years. There's a pattern here.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness people seem to be waking up in mass around the world to these things, and I do believe I've also read fairly extensively the past few years studying up on those topics, and I agree with you. There's much that's been hidden, and the truth has not been portrayed as things really are. So thank the Lord, it's all coming out, and thank you all for your good work, and Madison, for your bravery, and Dexter, and John, and Russ, and Mark, and everybody. We've just got such a great crew of people, and we just got to keep on keeping on. And I guess that's all I've got to say. Hey, Helen, is that Helen Gordon? No. Okay, I was just seeing who it was. Okay, thank you, Helen, for saying that. That was awesome. That's what I'm saying. Just little kind words like that, you know what I'm saying, can make someone forget about all the bad things that are said about them. Just one little kind word can deflect the bad. So we need to keep lifting each other up. Like they say, you're doing something right when they start really attacking you. I don't do much on Facebook because I'm just not really a computer whiz. I'm more the hit the streets person. I'm out there talking to people and handing out flyers and cards and DVDs. And I talk to just about, I try to make it a point every day I go out and, with the shopping or the public or whatever, whether it's somebody at the gas station that I hand a card to with the geoengineering websites, or want some of Dane's flyers, or people in a grocery store. I just, anytime I get a chance, man, I just throw it right out there. So, we're all doing what we can, and I do think it's making a difference, but it sure does get frustrating, and it gets, frankly, depressing at times. I sit here and look at how much nature is degenerating around me on the farm that I live on, and it almost depresses me every day to go out and see the trees dying everywhere, and just things looking so bad and so unhealthy. It's just shocking what they're doing to our earth, and frankly, I'm not sure that it can, we can recover from this. It's and then we hear what Dane has to say about the methane and the Fukushima, all the poison and the radiation that's poisoning the Pacific, and the fish kills and stuff, mammals, marine mammals. Last week, I guess it was on Dane's Saturday call with Russ and Richard Sachs, he mentioned Point Reyes, California, which he said was like a beautiful, pristine beach where hundreds, if not thousands, of marine animals have just washed up dead on the beaches. It's just right here. I was going to say that happened here too in Virginia Beach this summer, which never happens. I've never heard of it. All these dolphins, bottlenose dolphins, were washing up dead, and it was all up the East Coast. But here where I live in Virginia Beach, that's something that never happens, and it's happening now. Oh, I know. It's just, and what is it? Dane says we're in the 6th mass extinction or something like that. It's very, very frightening to be living in these times, but like he says, just because we're not assured of what the outcome is doesn't mean we still shouldn't try, and we have to all do our best, and that's what I'm doing every day, because whatever happens, we will be judged by our actions and our heart, and our soul, and to me, there's nothing more important than being a warrior for planet Earth and for humanity, and so that's what makes me go every day. And even as depressing as it is to just see everything dying, the trees looking so unhealthy, and things changing, we still have to try and do our very best we can every day. Exactly. Okay, guys. Well, that's all for me. I'll sign off. Okay. Thanks, Helen. Thank you. Enjoyed your presentations very much, and it's nice to
get to know you, Dexter, and I hope I hear from y'all again. But again, I don't do much on the Facebook. Otherwise, I'd stop in and say hey there. But just know that I'm out here supporting y'all.
Awesome. That's great. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right, love you guys. Good night.
All right, love you. Hey, Dex.
What's up?
Dexter, thank you so much for doing the show with me, man. Appreciate it. I mean, you know how much that means to me. And I have no idea what's going to come of my Facebook, as wacky as it's been acting and everything. So, like I said, I'm holding on by a string on that account.
You're right, huh? Yeah,
I think you're right. You were right with what you said. Remember the last time we talked, you told me, maybe it'd be cool for me to lay low for a while, and just take a little break for a little bit, just to regroup myself. I think that might be where I'm at. After this last trip here to Williamsburg, after everything I saw and experienced, and, it would be just for my own peace of mind. I'm not saying I won't be posting, but just being so out there, I'm just going to take a little mini break. It doesn't mean I won't be there. I just, you know what I'm saying? Everybody needs to take a little break every now and then.
Yeah, you do, because there's this whole thing and how they've attacked you so much. They're really doing a psych up on you. And
yeah, I know. I just love it when a new profile comes up with my name on it and they're talking like they're me. And then I see, the worst part is sometimes I'll see my friends on there like posting on their page because they haven't, I haven't found the page yet. They don't know that that's not my page. And they'll just say, oh, I got banned from Facebook. And here's my new page. And they'll wait for me to get banned to do it. So they really are sneaky.
Yeah, it's all a part of the psych op. That's right.
Yeah. Well, we'll hold it down, Dexter. We're not going to let them beat us, no matter how hard they try. Because they're sneaky weasels and we're good people. So, I mean, you have to believe in good, that it'll win in the end at some point.
Well, yeah, exactly. And always remember this: we're playing multi-level chess with these people and the entities involved. We're playing chess.
Yes.
Let's remember that. That's why. Oh, that's another thing. You being you. See, that's why. Remember the nickname they gave you, Trinity for the
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another nickname they gave you. So all the people that are listening out there, aka MadisonStar Moon, just know that Dexter Farrell gave MadisonStar Moon an extra nickname called Trinity from the movie The Matrix. So she's got that kind of oomph about herself.
Is that funny?
Huh?
Oh God, I thought I just heard funny other thing. Look, you were the only one out of all my friends that called in, Dexter, except for Robbie, but he doesn't count because he's sitting here next to me. So he called in. But yeah, that was good. And like I'm gonna be doing probably when I get back, sometime this week I wanna do a show. And I think I gave you the link, or I showed you the link to that page. I think we're gonna get that website shut down. Because that's like blatant slander on Russ, me, and other people as well. So, I mean, they can't by law even do that. So we'll probably have that page shut down, the bad one that I told you about. Or I think I showed it to you.
Yeah, the one that they're doing the psych-op stuff, trying to assassinate you guys' credibility and character.
Right, they're just failing at it miserably because it's so like, dude, they broke down my name and said it meant that I created a name meaning I worship Satan.
Right. Yeah, that's
Right. So that's just absurd. And yeah, so tomorrow I'll be back in Virginia Beach and I'll give you a shout and you'll see me online and stuff. And thanks again for getting on the show.
No problem. It's interesting. From what I can tell, time goes on, we're gonna wind up one way or another taking this whole thing, what we're doing as far as pushing it forward to another level. We just have to figure out our strategy,
Right.
So,
well, I'm always game for a new strategy. I'm always trying to think of a new one too. You know what I'm saying? Because every time you think of something, they just like you said, the chess game. They're always a step ahead. You got to be 2 steps ahead, and just keep on. Yeah. All right, Dex. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna actually crash and get ready to go tomorrow. So I love you. And I appreciate, what you did for me today. And anybody else is on, I don't even know if anybody else is on the line, but I want to thank everybody again.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to click off myself. It's almost midnight here on the East Coast, so.
Alrighty, nighty-night. Have a good one. All right, see ya. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Russ. Russ, is he there? I guess not. Okay.